let's move on and talk about managing the BOM and BOM transformation. So it's a big part of Windchill, as I said in the last webinar. The idea of Windchill as we move into product lifecycle management is to manage that BOM through the entire product lifecycle. So we have that structure. That structure can change over time as we evolve the design from an initial requirements, maybe a system or logical structure. We get into detailed engineering and simulation validation into manufacturing and into support. Okay, so the idea is we maintain that part throughout the whole BOM, through the whole structure. It's associative. We can trace through that, and we can evolve that over the life cycle. So how we do that is through BOM transformation. Okay, so look, maybe you create a BOM and that BOM that comes out of engineering is exactly what you make in service. But for a lot of customers, particularly as products get more complex, that's not really how it works. Okay, what gets designed versus how you put it together versus how you service it can change quite dramatically. So the idea of Windchill is that we have this BOM associative BOM transformation tool that gives us that traceability. So we call this XBOM management for any type of BOM. The common ones are, manufacturing or a sales service, BOM, but we've got customers creating all kinds of BOMs, sales BOMs, other things like that. But the idea is we can take that structure we saw last week as an upstream BOM and we can make an equivalent downstream BOM. We have all sorts of tools to validate that. We can see the 3D data that's there from the visualization, which you'll see shortly. We have traceability of that. There's a link between those upstream and downstream items that you might create. So Windchill knows there's that. So when things like changes happen, we can trace that down and reconcile what we need to do in our manufacturing or service BOMs. Okay, so this also supports the variants that we looked at last week as well. So there's a whole bunch of tools in there to help us generate those BOMs. Okay, much better than Excel spreadsheets on a screen, in 2 columns and trying to put rules up on the screen to draw lines between them. So the idea of that is, we've looked at it. We've got this structure in Windchill. We've got a BOM, but that BOM that we've created might be our engineering BOM. So we can use our BOM transformation tool to create a manufacturing BOM of our golf cart, because maybe the way that we put this together on the factory is very different to how engineering has designed it. Okay, so we could create a phantom assembly, right, for our leg, because the way we put this together is we take these 3 parts and stick them together in a leg assembly. So we can build up that manufacturing BOM. Maybe the rest of it's similar. Okay, maybe we have new parts that are unique to manufacture that engineering doesn't care about, right? Like Loctite or something like that. Okay, so we can build up that manufacturing BOM. It might use the parts that are being created by engineering. There might be new parts that are manufacturing specific, but we have that manufacturing BOM. Okay, and quite often that's what we might want to share with ERP or something, which we'll get into in the next webinar. Right, but maybe from that BOM, there might also be, how do we service this thing? Okay, so maybe we'll make that service BOM from our manufacturing BOM. Maybe we'll create the service BOM from our engineering BOM. We've got customers that do that as well. So again, it could be a similar thing. We don't care about that phantom leg assembly. We have that similar structure, but maybe our drive control unit that we actually manufacture in-house, from a servicing perspective, that's considered a single sealed unit, right? So there's no pulling it apart to change anything on it. So it's just in the service BOM, it's a simplified structure. We've got the golf bag and the manual, but maybe our fasteners, they're in a fasteners kit. Okay, so we'll do them differently. So again, we can have these multiple different variations of the BOM that evolve over time. But the important thing, it's the same item being used all the way through. So we've got that complete traceability of where it's being used. If changes happen, which inevitably they do, we've got that traceability to help with our processes. Okay, so talk a little bit more about manufacturing. One of the other things that we have in Windchill is manufacturing process management. So we might define the manufacturing BOM based on how we're going to put that together. We can reconcile that and restructure that. But what we also have in Windchill is the ability to actually then go and define that process. So we can go and define, the operations, which bit's going to be used for that. We can validate that in 3D. We can even bring in 3D models of tooling and jigs and other bits and pieces that we might have to validate that. There is support for that to be exported into third-party tools that do that sort of manufacturing simulation in VR and things like that. So PDCs work with some of those vendors that build those sorts of things, okay? But we can generate that all in Windchill and use that to generate our work instructions as well that we can see directly in Windchill with live links into that data. So we're going to see all this in a bit, but the idea of that is, we've got our engineering BOM, we can turn that into a manufacturing BOM, as we just talked about earlier. From that manufacturing BOM, we might create a manufacturing process plan, okay? So that process plan, we can have multiple operations for how we, all the different stations that might go through to build our golf cart. So we can take those items and use them inside that operation. As I said, we can add in things like a work center that might have certain jigs and other equipment there. We can have tooling that we're going to use. You need a hammer or a caliper or whatever it might be. There are certain skills that we can define that need to be used. There might be control characteristics. So we haven't really talked about this very much to date, but the control characteristics are critical dimensions that need to be checked or whatever it might be during that process. And they can be flagged all the way back in Creo. If you're using model-based definition, MBD, we can flag a dimension as being a control characteristic, and that flows all the way through the entire digital process to a manufacturing process plan as a control characteristic that must be checked during our inspection routines on our manufacturing process, okay? So we can go and break up that process plan into multiple operations and start to consume all of our manufacturing BOM into all those different steps. We can have other things like process materials, consumables that you might use, like a cleaning fluid or something like that. You might link into a document that again is stored inside Windchill and developed and managed as a controlled document. That document might be an SOP for a procedure, it might be a hazardous materials data sheet, whatever it might be. Again, all that information can be linked into your manufacturing operations. Okay, so then from that perspective, either by operation or by the entire process plan, we can go and generate those work instructions. Okay, so that's a live document generated on the fly with the most up-to-date information. Then users can use that to execute those work instructions. We can save that to a PDF. We can view it live on the screen. Multiple ways to review that. We can also generate reports, any inconsistencies or things. We can use that. We can include time and cost calculations, so we can evaluate, we can set up time for each of these operations and all that information so we can calculate that. We can go and set our formulas that we use for those time and cost calculations, okay? So let's have a look at that on this transformation and process plans. So we've got our structure that we've looked at. Here's our overloaded BOM structure of our snowmobile. So I'm just going to run through this. We've got this sped up a little bit in the interest of time. So you can see our structure, we've got our visibility there. We've got our fuel system. There's a change pending on this. It's going through very quickly, I know, but essentially the design change has been done. We're just checking the variation in the design, and now we're going to create a manufacturing BOM from that. So we've gone into the BOM transformer tool that's here. We've opened up the latest version of the BOM. So we've got a manufacturing view of that as well. We can see this equivalent part from downstream. We can load up the visualization, but what we're going to do is create a new manufacturing BOM. Okay, so we're going to say where is this MBOM going to be stored in our structures inside Windchill. We could copy the existing BOM, but we're going to make this ourselves. So now it's a simply matter of consuming those items. So you can see we can drag and drop those items across. It shows it in the visualization. We're going to add a new part in here. We're going to add a phantom part in here. So we can say it's a phantom item. So we've got our phantom fuel tank. This is something required for manufacturing. So we can copy that part, paste it across into the left. So we can drag and drop, copy and paste, multiple ways to do these things. You can see how we've got those little validation check marks there to let us know that that part's being consumed. So we're going to do a few more of these. Another phantom part in here. Sorry, not a phantom part, a kit. So we're going to bring across our bracket items. So you can see as parts get moved from the upstream BOM on the left to the downstream BOM on the right, our visualization changes. So it makes it very easy to see what items you might have missed. Okay. We even have the option in terms of reconciliation. So you can see we had Here we've got three or multiple, sorry, we copied them all across already. The video is faster than I thought. We've got a couple of these items on the left. So we can actually choose to either show the quantity, or we can actually go by individual occurrences if maybe we want to restructure them out. So you can see that these pins, we don't want them in the bracket kit, we want them put somewhere else. We might decide that actually we want to change that structure around. So that sub-assembly that we brought across from the design, we don't want that in manufacturing at all. So we can get rid of that and collapse that structure. Okay, so those we can go and build up that manufacturing BOM by using the BOM transformer. Okay, we can check that in as a regular object. Now it's all managed and everything else. So now once we've got that manufacturing BOM created, we can go off and now build a manufacturing process plan from that. So you can see we've created that new process plan here. And there's our BOM, okay? So if we go to our related process plans, you can see it there from our manufacturing view. We've got the structure of that, okay? So at the moment it's new. We can go and open up the associated MBOM for that. And now we can start defining some operations. So we said there's going to be 4 operations involved in putting this fuel tank together. We can go and rename them, give them some descriptions and other bits of information. And then the idea is now we can start to consume that manufacturing BOM into each of those operations. So we can go and see, you know, step by step, essentially the visualization of that, how we're consuming those items. We've got allocation status as well. So again, it's a check on the BOM structure to tell us if we've used those parts or not. So we can go and speed this up a little bit and go and start to consume all of those items in our BOM, right? Sorry, in our operations, in our process plan. So once that's all done, we can check that all in, and there's all our operations done. So again, the idea is we can go and play that back. So we can set some visibility options and step through and see what happens on each step as we add in those different items, okay? So the other part that can be done to that is we can generate representations for each step of that, okay? So we're just going to do that for each operation. And the idea is this is what we can use in our work instructions. Okay, so we can go to our representations. We can go and open up that 3D model that was used, came all the way from design. And then inside Creo View, we can go and create an annotated representation of the model. We can explode it and do all that sort of stuff. You know, no need to access to the 3D CAD data. We've got that through the visualization. So we can go and build out those steps. So we can do that inside Creo View. If you've actually got Creo Illustrate, you can actually use Creo Illustrate for doing that as well. And then the idea from that is we can go and generate the work instruction. So it uses that visualization that we created, that view. There's a list of all the parts. You can see those are actually hyperlinks in. So we can simply click to go and see the details of all of that part. So here's one we prepared earlier. So in this case, we've added in work centers that have tooling and fixtures and other bits and pieces. So I can even see that information as well. So when we go and define our work instructions, you can see we've got a more complete representation of what we've got, okay? We can have multiple pictures per representation as well if you need to, but the idea is we can generate these work instructions based off that 3D data, all of the tooling information, all of that stuff that we can define to build all that out inside Windchill, okay? All right, so that was a very quick look at how that works. So if we move on from that, you know, the idea of this is to really create that that digital thread that we like to talk about. Okay, so we have our engineering BOM, we have our manufacturing BOM. You know, one of the things is we can look at how we can reuse all that information. But then when we get into manufacturing of that, okay, so maybe we want to manufacture it in different locations. Okay, so we can even handle plant-specific definitions of our BOM as well. That's an option too. Like we did see a little bit of that with the sourcing status for whether we're manufacturing in America versus Asia Pacific region. So we can do all of that sort of information, right? So the whole idea is we've got that part that came from the engineering BOM through to our manufacturing BOM, through to our plant specific definitions that we've got that, and then utilized in our manufacturing instructions as well. Okay, so then from that side, we can publish that off to our different systems. You know, maybe run different systems in our different factories. We can have all that manufacturing information. It's all there.